interesting times await that ahead of for us. It seems like Joe Biden is in a lot of trouble. In terms of maybe being caught for, all of his documents and all that great stuff that's happening. But there's some more crazy stuff that I think that needs to go over between maybe them covering it up or the Bidens just being way more corrupt than people seem to realize. Of course, you have a lot of people that will think that the Bidens are not corrupt or they're not nefarious, but in all reality, that really is the case. I don't think that's great. And what I'm getting at here is that we have this. DOJ searches Biden's Delaware home for a second time. The Department of Justice conducted a second search of President Joe Biden's Delaware home on Wednesday after previously finding classified documents at the location on January 20th. Today, with the president's full support and cooperation with the DOJ, is conducting a planned search of his home in Rehoboth, Delaware. Bob Dwyer, Biden's personal attorney, said in a statement, the search was conducted from 8:30 a.m. to noon. Under DOJ's standard procedures and the interest of operational security and integrity, it sought to do this work without advance public notice, and we agreed to cooperate. The search today is a further step in the thorough and timely DOJ process we will continue to fully support and facilitate. We will have further information at the conclusion of today's search, Boyer added. No documents with classified markings were found, Boyer said, but the DOJ took for further review some materials and handwritten notes that appear to relate to his time as vice president. FBI personnel conducted the research, according to CBS News reporter Arden Farhi, who cited two people familiar with the event. Biden's lawyers originally found classified documents at the Penn Biden Center November 2nd, a think tank where Biden held an office as vice president. His lawyers found additional documents in his Delaware home on December 20th, January 11th, and January 12th. The DOJ conducted a consensual search of the property January 20th. In his first search, the DOJ spent over 12 hours combing through Biden's belongings, taking 6 items of consisting documents with classification markings and surrounding materials, some which were from the president's service in the Senate, and some of which were from his tenure vice president. The DOJ had full access to the president's home, including personally handwritten notes, files, papers, binders, memorabilia, to-do lists, schedules, and reminders going back decades, Barr's statement said at the time. Well, there's a bit more interesting stuff, because we also have this here as well. FBI seizes handwritten notes from Biden's time as VP from his $2.7 million Rehoboth vacation home, but doesn't find classified documents after a 3.5-hour search. We're not going to go through this full article, obviously, but it goes on to say federal agents handwritten notes from Joe Biden's beach home in Rehoboth on Wednesday, but found no documents marked classified. The president's attorney said as the crisis takes yet another troubling turn for the administration. The Justice Department will reveal the material they took, which dates from Biden's time as vice president. Biden didn't answer questions on the matter during an economic event at the White House. The president, who is fighting off a cold, sat silently while reporters shouted at him and then were escorted from the room. Well, that may all seem well and good, but I think there's something more than meets the eye here, because we see that they seized handwritten notes and didn't find anything, but here's the thing. What else are they hiding? White House claims of transparency face even more scrutiny as it's revealed National Archives was blocked from releasing statement on classified documents found at Biden's think tank. Oh, what's this? Blocked? What could that possibly mean, guys? That doesn't mean that the FBI is probably hiding something, right? That they're not, that they're kind of hiding or preventing the evidence from being released? No, the FBI wouldn't have done that. It's not like they weren't completely caught spying on U.S. citizens back in 2020 and 2021, and breaching their First Amendment rights, and also going after President Donald Trump previously before and trying to ridicule that man. So we seem to be seeing that the FBI, again, is maybe not being trusted. Let's go through this. The National Archives was prevented from notifying the public that classified documents had been found at President Joe Biden's think tank back in November, raising questions over who stopped the information from coming out. That might be the FBI, but who knows? It's just a random accusation, right? We don't truly know, right, guys? House Oversight and Reform Committee Chairman James Comer raised the question Tuesday night, claiming the only two entities that could have given the order are the White House and the Department of Justice, putting the onus on either Biden or Attorney General Merrick Garland. Despite teams claiming they have been transparent regarding the classified document scandal, new details emerged to say that the FBI had searched his former offices after the initial materials were found. So there is a possibility that they are not lying and they didn't find anything, or there's a stronger possibility that they are lying and they did find multiple stuff, but they're hiding it from the actual general public. And it could be way more than what we initially initialized. Now, it being way more, that is up in the air, and that is an accusation. But we don't know if it is more or if it's what they really did find. So, I'm under the pretense here that the FBI, aka this administration, this dictatorship, is lying to the American people, and I don't think this is really much of a far stretch here. The National Archives prepared a press release to notify the public of the discovery, but was stopped from issuing it, Comer revealed. And this guy will go on to say... Right. Yeah, because here's the thing. Why are certain things being blocked? Why are certain things not being released? This has never happened to Donald Trump whatsoever at all. And this is raising a lot of questions onto what is our government really doing here? Because it doesn't seem like this government is being very, very trustworthy. I mean, this is not really a surprise to any of us, but I think there's a lot more that meets the eye here. And our government, as of right now, our dictatorship, our actual fascists, I think need to be obviously put in jail for this. Because, as I will say this before, the FBI, the CIA, and any other highly government official or company or what have you needs to be immediately dismantled, completely abolished, and then maybe bring up something else that's not as corrupt. Because as we're seeing here, there seems to be a lot of corruption. Yeah, so again, I can answer your question, buddy. It's a double standard, as the Fox News has said. It's a double standard. They only play favorites to one political party. And the one thing that we do know is that humans are disgusting human beings, and they will try to control humans if they can. This is the same thing that's happening. The left have voted this very corrupt government in, and there is no end in sight. Again, you guys are the ones that are... honestly, everybody that voted for Biden are the ones that are the reason why this country is going down. Let that be a reminder to you. So I think that it pretty much goes into what we would think that what the issue is here. I don't think that this is going to be any remotely type of good stuff. And we also have this here. The FBI searched Penn Biden Center after President aides reported documents. This is from the Washington Post. And again, agents were looking for any additional classified records that may have been stored there from Biden's time as vice president. So it goes on to say FBI agent searched President's former office at the Penn Center in mid-November, a little more than a week after the White House alerted federal officials that a Biden lawyer had found evidence of classified records at the D.C.-based think tank, according to one person familiar with the search. Yeah, and I don't think this is not going to end up being really good here. We also have this as well. The ABC News, breaking DOJ conducting a planned search of President Biden's home in Red Beach, Delaware, according to Biden's personal lawyer. And again, I don't think that there's going to be much of a thing doing, because again, I think they're hiding a lot of crucial information here. We have more with this as well, that from Meister Schellenberger, mainstream news journalists believe that they are more fair and objective than the public, but Pew finds the opposite, where 76% of U.S. adults agree that journalists should have always strived to give every side equal coverage. Just 44% of journalists do. Yes, of course, the journalists are going to believe that everything that they cover is accurate and fair, when in reality we all know it's fair, because they've been caught multiple times lying about multiple things. There's a reason why CNN is crumbling, why the Washington Post is crumbling, and why many others are crumbling. And I will digress that it's just not going to be seeming very well. The younger and more aggressive journalist is, the more likely he or she is to agree that every side does not always have to deserve equal coverage. And we have more of this as well. Your suspicion that the journalists who frequently complain of misinformation or have disinfo in their Twitter bio are the ones who most opposed to equal news coverage. Republicans, Americans with low levels of trust in news organizations most likely say journalists should always try to cover all sides equally. Yes, and I think I think more people will like journalists if they actually covered news equally, but they don't. And this is the thing. I want news covered equally and fair, and that's the reason why a lot of YouTubers such as myself and other people are starting to coming up and up. And I'm not saying I'm this great guy that does this stuff. I just sit here on my ass and just read news articles for everybody to see and report the news and just my own opinions on it. So I'm not going to say I'm really a professional, but I would say that I am better than some of the news articles that are coming out or mainstream media, because they don't seem to lie, or they try to twist things, or actually advocate for violence more than anything. So I'm not the type of person that will do that, or a lot of other news YouTubers. The latest Hunter Biden revelation is a new low, which goes on to say the text from Hunter Biden to former employee obtained by the Daily Mail show that in 2019 the president's son threatened to withhold back pay from a legal assistant unless she had sex with him on FaceTime. The assistant was not named in the report, was employed by Biden's legal firm, Owasco, for administrative work. Documents from his laptop show that the woman emailed in January 2019 asking why she had not received her paycheck for December 2018, and why her health insurance was not active. 2 months later, the text showed that Biden sent her $1,000 via PayPal pay for small stuff. I will back sick up for the back pay, he texted her on March 7, 2019. You have to make up for back work. After he sent $2,000 more, she agreed, and Biden set the terms. The rule has to be no talk of anything but sex, and we must be naked, and we have to do whatever the other person asks within reason. The texts go on, and Biden continues to send her money as the two could have sex over the video chat app. Well then, I guess we have that. As the New York Post reported in 2020, when Biden's laptop mysteriously came to public light, he and the assistant had sex prior to this March 2019 FaceTime call. An image of the two were found on the computer. But the allegation of withholding pay for sex would be a big new problem for the president's son, who is already in trouble. Last fall, federal investigators reportedly believed there was enough evidence to charge him with tax crimes and a false statement related to a gun he had bought. Republicans took over the House in January. The Oversight Committee announced an inquiry into Biden's finances, including suspicious activity reports filed by banks to federal regulators concerning his accounts, such as large transactions. Around 100 of these reports have been filed related to Biden's bank accounts, including wire payments of $44,500 from the younger Biden and his company's two assistants in 2018. So what we're finding here is that these Bidens are extremely corrupt, trying to extort people of their money, and honestly, I would dare say that what they were doing was, that girl was obviously great because she had no other reason to do so. So I think that these Bidens are horrendous corrupt. I think the FBI is aligned with Joe Biden himself, and I think there's a lot more that meets to the eye with the Joe Biden conspiracy and all this other issue and this dark stuff. Well, I guess we'll find out more on this evil stuff, because this year is being quite interesting. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.